And the assessments that you use, what types of assessments? Positive assessments or?
Yeah, so with some of the assessments that I use the VIA. I do use the VIA within organizations, especially when we are talking about resilience, topics of resilience. I find that VIA is a great tool to use. It doesn't always work in corporations. Sometimes I might just use the language around VIA, in terms of giving people a list of what the strengths are, and we do some exercises around that. So I might just use the language as opposed to the assessment. Because with 240 questions, I find it kind of, some organizations find it kind of onerous. With some organizations, for example, with the VIA, I may have them do some pre-work and take the VIA score beforehand. And then we come in and debrief in a workshop session. Other times, some organizations say that's I don't want, 100 people, doing the VIA, taking half an hour to do the VIA. And plus they just found it was way too long. And so what I might do is just come up with a VIA list.
Yeah.
So
what happens when they had the list, or when they filled out the assessment? What happened? How do you debrief it?
So I debrief it in a group setting. So, for example, with the Strengths Finder, I get everybody's permission to share their strengths, because I think it's really important on a team. One of the best and most valuable things of doing Strengths Finder or VIA in a team environment is for me to know more about you and me to know more about all of my teammates. And, for example, I might put all of the strengths up around the room on a flip chart, like a achiever and woo and, and all the other strengths on a flip chart. And then I give everybody 5 colored sticky notes, and they write their name on all 5, and then they go around the room and they put their name underneath the 5 top strengths that they have. And it's a very interesting discussion, and people go around the room and they see who's under which one. And it's a very interesting discussion to see where the holes are. Where are there no sticky notes? Where are there a lot of sticky notes? Does that make sense? I was working with a counseling organization, and there's a lot of sticky notes under empathy. Well, of course, right? As counselors, they need to be empathetic. So that would make sense,
Yeah.
Or they say, well, this is where we fall short, and look, there's no one under strategic. So we sort of go about our merry way, but sometimes we get lost with a vision or whatever, and look, nobody's there. Maybe that's where we need to hire people, to come in and help us with things like that. So it can be that kind of discussion, but also I get people to talk about, how do they use this strength? How have they used it in the past? Give us an example. I ask other people in the room to say, Bob here says that positivity is his #1 strength. When have you experienced Bob's strength of positivity? And people will say, when we did that project, you did this, this, and this. And then the person is reminded, oh yes, I did do that. And so there's a sense of self-confidence. People emerge from that with a sense of self-confidence that they're good at something. And then other people have also recognized it. And so they emerge from these sessions feeling really good about themselves and their teammates. And then we take the conversation to the next level, where we say, given the challenges that we have of the future, how do you see, who do you think is really going to help, given what their strengths are? Or how do you think you're going to use your strength to see you through the next 6 to 12 months, or 18 months? So it's about also future, forward-looking on, how they can use their strengths in the future.
And have you used the other assessments in other ways? Or the VIA in other ways?
So the VIA I usually use in resilience type. So let's talk about your top 5, but how have you when did you use it in the past to get you through a really hard time? How can you do that now in this situation, now that you're going through this hard time? How can you use it again, you know, to get you through this hard time? And I do a lot of work with Shannon Pauley, and Shannon brought to my attention this this resilience case study. It's, I believe, out of the Positive Organizational Scholarship Organization, the Ross Michigan School of Business. And I believe it was written by Jane Dutton, and it's called the Joseph White Resilience Case Study. I don't know if I have the title. You could probably Google it, Joseph White. And it's a whole case study around Joseph White, who was the interim president of the university. And he had done really exceptionally well. And then when they went to choose their president, they didn't choose him. And he delivered a speech about disappointment and how disappointed he was. But he did it in a way that showed such resilience and such positive view that he was going to take this not as something that would affect him negatively, but that it would help him, make him stronger, and give him a new perspective. And in fact, I believe 6 months later, he became the president of another university. And so we talk about how his perspective actually helped him become president somewhere else and not go into a downward spiral. Yeah, yeah. So the case study is a fabulous tool that I use. I get people to read the case study before they come in, and they're just so amazed at his ability to be able to see this hugely disappointing thing in his life with such an excellent perspective of resilience. And then we use the via language around what character strengths are you seeing in Joseph White, you know, as he does that. And so it's a great little tool that I use in my resilience workshops.
Right. And do you